पार्टिसिपेंट्स देखिए जमील है, रोहन, रोमा, राशिद। लेफ्ट। अस्सलाम वालेकुम क्लास 7 स्टूडेंट्स। Assalamu alaikum class 7 students. Beti, we have started our workbook chapter number 7. Chapter number 3, the periodic table. Okay, and I discussed these answers with you in our previous lecture. Okay, but now today I am sharing the screen and I will repeat these questions with you again. I think you can't understand the answers. So the first question is there. It is page number 20 of your workbook. So please take out page number 20 of your workbook and please turn on your cameras. Boys, please turn on your camera. Muzammil, Musaf, please turn on your camera. And Tabeen. Yes. Okay, bete, now look at your workbook. Musaf, turn on your camera. Muzammil, please turn on your camera. Okay, bete, see, this is page number 20. Okay, chapter number 3, the periodic table. This is question number 6. The diagram shows the theoretical model of an atom. Okay, now you can see, label the diagram using these words. Question number 1 is given under the diagram and also words are given. The words are electron, electron shell, nucleus, neutron and proton. Okay, so you have to fill the gaps. So you can see, first one is nucleus. Okay, the first one is nucleus. The bracket shows the nucleus. Second, this is a circular path. I have told you that when we discuss structure of an atom, it has a circular path around the nucleus. So the circular path is called electron shell. Third one is, you see in the center of a nucleus, there are 4 atoms are present. 2 have positive charge and 2 have no charge. And you all of know these things, that in the center of a nucleus, protons and neutrons are present. Protons have positive charge and neutrons have no charge. So in the line, the line which is marked here, you can see there are 2 plus sign. It means there are 2 positive numbers are in the center of the nucleus, which are showing the proton. And the next labeling is that this is an electronic shell, and above the shell there is an atom. So this atom is showing the electron, and you all of know an atom has 3 basic fundamental particles, which are electron, proton and neutron. Protons has positive charge, electrons have negative charge and neutrons have no charge. Okay, so because of that you can see, this is a circular path and there is an electron in the circular path. And the next labeling is that neutron, because in the center the bracket is showing the nucleus, the center of an atom, and you can see the atoms which we can see on the screen, they have no charge on, because no positive sign and no negative sign above the atom, so they are showing neutron. So in the center of the nucleus there are 2 protons and there are 2 neutrons. Okay, but in the circular path we can see there are 3 electrons moving around the nucleus. So this is the answer of question number 1. Label the diagram using these words. Now there is question number 2. Explain why the model is only theoretical. Why is the model is only theoretical? What is the reason? Its reason is very simple, because this is theoretical because the size of an atom is very simple. this is very short. It is a this is very its size is very tiny, so we cannot see the structure of an atom by our open eye. So which thing do we need? So we need a heavy uh, electrostatic microscope. And we all of know we use two different types of microscope. One is called electron microscope and the other one is called compound microscope. Electron compound microscope is very heavy, which is used in big science labs. Okay, and its important function is that to to show the smaller size of things in a bigger size. Okay, so because of that, you can see that the structure of an atom is theoretical because its size is very tiny. So we can watch the model of an atom with the help of theoretical model. Next one is there, what is the atomic number of this atom? So question is that what is the atomic number of this atom? So look at the structure. In the structure you can see three electrons are moving in the circular path. How many electrons are moving? Three electrons are moving in the circular path. So these three electrons are showing, that its atomic number is 3. I have told you when we were studying the chapter that atomic number is always equal to the number of electrons which is moves around the nucleus. So how many electrons are moving around the nucleus? You can see in the diagram they are 3. So because of that, its atomic number would be 3. Now, what is the mass number of this atom? This answer is also very simple because mass number is always equal to the number of protons plus number of neutrons. When we add protons and neutrons both, they make the mass number of an element. So in the figure, we can see there are two protons which have positive charge on them, and there are more than two atoms which have no charge on them. So positive numbers are showing two protons, and no charge atoms are showing more than two neutrons. So when we add them, two protons and two neutrons, so that should be equal to 4. So what will be happen? The number of protons and the number of neutrons show us the mass number of that thing. I hope you understand. This situation. Now we will come to next page. Okay, now we will come to next page. You can see on the screen. This is question number 7. Match the formula to the atomic model. Draw a line between the formula and the model. I have told you before, you will never draw the line. You have to write the numbers. Okay, these alphabetical numbers are given in your question. You can see A. It is a model of a model of a chemical formula, and you can see here there is one atom of oxygen, so that is showing on the O. O is representing the oxygen, and there is two A's. So H is showing the element of hydrogen, and in the figure you can see there are two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen. So definitely it will match with the chemical formula of H2O. In the screen you can see it will match with H2O. One atom of oxygen and two atoms of hydrogen. Now come to next part, B part. This is, you can see in the center there is one atom which is showing a carbon. Okay, and along with there are four atoms of hydrogen. You can also see four atoms of hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4. So the chemical formula for this model should be CH4. CH4 is a methane gas. Methane gas, the other name of methane gas is a natural gas, and the other name of natural gas is sui gas. You all of know, you all use at your home, in your stores, in your kitchens. That is a methane gas. Its chemical name is methane. Its chemical formula is CH4, and its common name is sui gas, which we use at our home. So option B will match with the chemical formula CH4, and in the figure you can see there is one atom of carbon and there are four atoms of hydrogen. So when they chemically combine with each other, they make CH4. Come to option C. You can see in the model there is one atom of oxygen. O is representing oxygen. In the center there is carbons. Capital C is showing the carbon atom, and then again there is O. O is representing again oxygen. So in this model we can understand it's the chemical formula of, it will match with carbon dioxide, means CO2. In the figure you can see there is one atom of carbon and there are two atoms of oxygen. So it will match with CO2. Then come to D option. Option D is one atom of hydrogen and one atom of chlorine. So D option, HCl, it will match with HCl. You can see option D. Now come to E part. E part is one atom of nitrogen and three atoms of hydrogen. So this theoretical model will match with the chemical formula of NH3. And I told you in my previous lecture that NH3 is a chemical formula for ammonia, and ammonia is made by nitrogen and three atoms of hydrogen, and this is a very important element for our fertilizers and fertilizer which we use to grow our crops. So our crops need a plenty of nitrogen and hydrogen. So NH3 is representing the chemical formula of ammonia. So it will match, E part match with NH3. Okay, now come to next part, question number, this is F part. F part is showing two atoms of nitrogen. You can see there is one atom of nitrogen and there is another atom of nitrogen. But the difference is that in figure we can see there are three lines. Okay, I want to tell you about one line show single bonding. It means both elements are sharing and losing one electron. If there are two lines, they are showing that these two elements are losing and gaining two electrons. But in this figure, they have drawn three lines. This is wrong. Actually, answer is that there should be only two lines. Okay, so cut the one line. So when two atoms of nitrogen combine with two atoms of nitrogen, then they make N2. N2 is a nitrogen gas. You can also see on the scale N2 is a nitrogen gas. When we write only N show the symbol of nitrogen. When we write N2, N2 is showing the N2 is showing the nitrogen gas. When we write N2, N2 tells us that it's a chemical formula for nitrogen gas. And you all of know, and you also study in your junior classes, that nitrogen gas is present in a, when we keep in mind the composition of air, we all of know that 79% nitrogen is present in our surrounding and only 21% oxygen is present on earth. So question is that if the plenty of nitrogen is present in the air, so what is the purpose of nitrogen in the atmosphere? What is the role of nitrogen in our surrounding? Its answer is very simple. The nitrogen gas which is present in the atmosphere, it mixes with our sunlight and comes to the earth and falls on our plants. So plants need plenty of nitrogen to grow well. So that's why nitrogen becomes the part of our food, it becomes the part of our plants, and that plants are eaten by animals and humans both. So when they eat these plants, so because of that, this nitrogen becomes the part of animals and humans both. So nitrogen gas plays very important role in the life cycle, in the life of plants. So now you can see all these numbers. A part, it's a chemical formula match with H2O. B part, it's a chemical formula for CH4 methane gas, it will match with B. C part, OCO CO2, okay, it will match with C part. D part, HCl is a D part. And E part is a NH3, it will match with ammonia, and F part, this is N2. N2 match with nitrogen gas. I hope you understand the column. Now come to next part. Which of the diagram represents? First is given carbon dioxide. Definitely we can find where is the carbon dioxide gas. So option C, we can see there is option C, it is matched with carbon dioxide. Second is that where is the hydrogen chloride? So you can see hydrogen chloride, this is option D. And number 3 is hydrogen oxide. So where is hydrogen oxide? You can see it is option A. And where is nitrogen? You can see nitrogen is matched with F part. Okay, so like that, first part answer is C, second part answer is D, third part answer is hydrogen oxide, and the fourth part answer is F. Now come to next page. Okay. Now, beta, this is very important. So look at the diagram, shows an outline of the periodic table. So look at your book carefully. This periodic table is also given in your book. You can also open the book along with this table. So look at, this is page number 22 and question number 8. The diagram shows an outline of the periodic table. Now we will see the question. Question number 1. What is listed in the periodic table? What is listed in the periodic table? So its answer is very clear to you. Elements are arranged in order of their atomic numbers. What is listed in the periodic table? We all of know, we also discussed the characteristics of periodic table, that all elements which are put in periodic table, they all are arranged according to their atomic numbers. Okay. Now after that, there is question number 2, A part. On which side are the metals, left or right? So if you observe the periodic table, if you open your book along with this diagram, you can see all metals are put in the periodic table at the left side. Now come to B part of this question number 2, B part. Draw a zigzag line to show how the metals are separated from the non-metals. Okay, in the figure you can see how they are arranged. So you can see this is a zigzag line. You can see I have drawn this zigzag line here. Okay, so this, you also have to draw this zigzag line on your book. So this zigzag line tells us about the this tells us about the we are doing the question number 2, B part. Okay, draw a zigzag line to show how the metals are separated from the non-metals. Okay, so this whole part is showing the metals, and this part is showing the non-metals. So this zigzag line tells us about the metals and non-metal. This is the metal part in periodic table, and this is the non-metal part in the periodic table. I hope you understand it, and you also have to draw this line in your periodic table in your question. Now come to question number 3. The periodic table is divided into 8 groups. Mark the groups by putting the correct numbers above the columns. Okay, the periodic table is divided into the groups. Okay, so you have to write here groups. This is the first column. Okay, so you write here in Roman numbers 1, write here number 2. Okay, then come to this is number 3, this is number 4, this is number 5, this is number 6, this is number 7, and this is number 8. You have to write the names of groups in Roman numbers. Okay, I am telling again, look at the screen. This is number 1, this is number 2. Okay, then come to this is number 3, this is number 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, and this is 8. So please put these numbers on your workbook. It will be help to understand the periodic table. Now come to question number 4. Label the noble gases. Okay, so I have told you, I'm showing on the screen. This is the group of noble gases. Label the noble gases. It means you have to shade in them. These all are noble gases, and we have written here group 8. So group 8 means these all are noble gases. And if I explain you the summary of noble gases, then it should be then you will be comfortable. Noble gases are all noble gases are unreactive gases. These are also called group 8, group 0, or noble gases or rare gases. Okay, and the important thing is that the elements which are present in these groups, they do not need to attract other elements. So what is the reason? I am repeating again, because these all gases have 8 electrons in their outermost shell, so they do not need to react other elements. So this is very simple, that these gases have 8 electrons in their outer shell, so they are unreactive gases. That's why they are called noble gases. That's why they are called rare gases. That's why they are called group 8 or group 0 gases. So in your workbook, this is group 8. You also have written here group 8, and you have to shade all these gases. Okay, so you have to shade in your workbook. Okay, come to the next question. Now we will see question number 5. Which element goes in the single box at the top of the periodic table? Which element goes in the single box at the top of the periodic table? So its answer is very clear. If you see in your book, in this box we can write only hydrogen. Hydrogen is in the top of the box in the periodic table, and we will write here only H. Okay, and in the answer you will write the complete form of hydrogen. This is it is written here hydrogen. Okay, now next one, question number 4. Put the following symbols in the direct place on the periodic table. Put the following symbols in the direct place on the periodic table. Okay, so there are different elements are given here. Okay, option A is lithium, option B is nitrogen, option C is carbon, and option D is helium. Okay, and you can find all these elements in your periodic table. So you have to see, first is lithium, its atomic number is 3 and mass number is 7. You can see boron, its atomic number is 5 and its mass number is 11. You can see oxygen, its atomic number is 8 and its mass number is 16. You can see helium, its atomic number is 2 and its mass number is 4. Okay, so keep in your mind all these elements and look at your periodic table. So then you have to explain. So then you have to explain about the elements. Okay, so what will be happen? So lithium, in which group it is present? So you will do this question by yourself. You will open your periodic table from your book. Okay, and then you will see the atomic number 3 lithium, and then you will see where it is present. Okay, I will tell you, first is hydrogen, second is helium, and third is lithium. So definitely lithium will come into group 2. Okay, so you will open the periodic table from your book, and then you write the group of these elements. Lithium will come into group 2, boron will come into group 5, oxygen will come into group group 6. Okay, so you will open this periodic table from your book, and according to their atomic number, I have told you the atomic number written on the top of left side of the top of the element. So lithium atomic number is 3, boron atomic number is 5, oxygen atomic number is 8, and helium atomic number is 2. So you have to see these atomic numbers in the periodic table. Find the atomic number in the periodic, and then see the group, and the group which is written on the top you have to write in front of these elements. Okay, so this is your home, you have to do yourself. Okay, this is very simple. Now we will go to the next question. Okay, beta, this is the last question of your chapter number 3. Question number 9. Draw a diagram to show the structure of an atom of the element represented by this symbol. Okay, you can see in this figure, this is given N. N is representing the nitrogen, and you can also see its atomic number is 7 given, and its mass number 14 is given. So according to this, draw the correct number of neutrons, protons, and electrons in your diagram, and label them. Okay, so this is the structure of nitrogen. We all of know when we draw the structure of, first of all, we will draw the nucleus. So in the center, this is a nucleus. And we all of know in the center, we will write the number of protons and number of neutrons. So according to this figure, we can find atomic number is always equal to proton number. So atomic number is 7. So that's why we have written proton number is 7. Okay, and neutron is 7. How do we write? Because the mass number is 14. And we all of know this thing, in the center of nucleus, number of protons and neutrons always are equal. So when we minus 7 from 14, 14 minus 7, answer should be 7. So number of neutrons should be 7. So this is correct. According to figure, proton is 7, then atomic number is 7. Okay, mass number is 7 plus 7, 14, number of protons and neutrons. So this is 14 protons. Now we have to draw the structure, and we all of know when we want to draw the structure, we always follow the atomic number. So atomic number is 7. So first we draw the nucleus. Okay, and this is first circular path, and in first circular path in detail I have discussed with you in the class that only 2 electrons can accommodate in first electronic shell. So you can see in the figure I have drawn only 2 electrons in first circular path. Now come to the second circular path. In second circular path, out of 7, just 5 are left. So we have put 5 electrons here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a complete structure of nitrogen. And in this question, they are also asking about draw the correct number of neutrons, protons, and electrons in your diagram and label them. So despite nitrogen, if any other element is given to you to draw the structure, this should be very easy for you, because atomic number and mass number should be given to you. So when you follow the instructions and when you keep in your mind all the rules about the structure of an atom, you can draw the structure of any element in the periodic table. This should be very easy for you. So I hope you understand all the workbook. Now your workbook has been ended. Your chapter number 3 completely is ended, and I will give you the summary of periodic table again. Okay. Question number 1 is that first of all, when we started the periodic table, I have told you that this chapter is related to your chemistry, and the periodic table is very important for us. Why it is important? Because when different types of elements were discovered, among them 90 elements are natural, and more than other elements, now more than 105 elements are discovered and other are artificial, which are made by scientists in the science labs. So when these elements were discovered, then there was important thing the scientists was observing, that the structure of an atom is very very tiny. So we cannot we cannot observe the structure of an atom by open eye. So the scientists in which we have studied the evolution of atomic structure, in which there was J.J. Thomson, there was J.J. Thomson, there was Bohr's atomic model, and they discussed the structure, and they found that there are three important fundamental particles of an atom, and they are proton, neutrons, and electrons. Then they have found that protons have positive charge, neutrons have no charge, and electrons have negative charge. After that, they have find out the rules, how can we draw the structure. For this I have told you that they have found a circular paths around the nucleus, and there are 5 circular paths, and they are called electronic shell. First shell is called K shell, second is called L shell, third is called N shell, fourth shell is called N shell, and the last one shell, fifth shell is called O shell. So there are 5 circular paths and they have their names. Then they have find the formula, that is equal to, that is 2n square. 2 is a mathematical formula, and n is showing the energy level of that circular path. So the first shell has most energy as compared to last shell. So according to that, we have find, I have told you the calculation, then we have find that in first shell only 2 electrons can accommodate, in second shell only 8 electrons can accommodate, in third shell only 18 electrons can accommodate, and in fourth shell 32 electrons can accommodate, and the last shell, in fifth shell, 50 electrons can accommodate. So according to that, they found the structure. Then they told us about the characteristics of the periodic table, in which they told us because hydrogen has only one atom, so it is accommodated in the periodic table on the top of the list, and because it has only one electron in it, so its atomic number is 1, and its mass number is also 1, and it has no neutrons inside it. After that, all elements are arranged in the periodic table according to their atomic number. Then second characteristic for atomic number is that that atomic number is taken according to proton number. Okay, so the number of protons which are in the inside the nucleus, they are always equal to atomic number. And mass number is drawn by number of protons plus number of neutrons. So protons have positive charge, neutrons have, and they both are present in the center of the nucleus. So when we count them, they make the mass number. So keep in your mind, atomic number always equal to proton number, and mass number is always equal to protons plus neutrons. After that, we have discussed an ability that in group 1 or metals are present. They are very reactive. They show vigorous reaction when they dissolve in the water. Okay, and then we have discussed about that. And in group 7, all are halogens. Halogens are called salt formers, which make salt. For example, when we make combination sodium with chlorine, they make sodium chloride. It is a salt. When we make reaction sodium with sulfur, then it make a sodium sulfate. That is also a salt. When we make reaction with sodium with magnesium, so it make a nitrate, so then it make a sodium nitrate. So in group 7, all elements which are present in the periodic table, they all are called halogens. Halogens means salt formers. And in group 8, all elements are called noble gases, and they follow the octet rule. You all of know, you also study in mathematics that octagon, the shape which has 8 corners. So octet rule comes from octagon. It means these all elements have 8 electrons in their outermost shell, so they do not need to make a combination to make bonding other elements, in which the krypton, argon, neon, xenon, these all gases are present, and they are unreactive gases. And there is another characteristic of periodic table is that, which we have discussed, that in periodic table all elements are arranged according to their periodic table, okay, and they are unreactive gases, and there are some elements are present in that which are very vigorous and very reactive in action. After that, we have discussed why elements need to attract to each other. According to that, we have discussed that there are two important, ionic bonding and covalent bonding. Ionic bonding is happen between two different types of elements, in which we have discussed the example of sodium and chloride. Sodium is a hard solid material, and chlorine is a gas. When they both are react to each other, when they lose and gain electrons, so the element which lose the electron, it get the negative charge, and the element which gain the electron, it get the positive charge. So because of this, when sodium and chlorine are combined to complete the electronic shell, so they make the salt. So after that, we have studied covalent bonding. Covalent bonding is different, in which when same elements attract to each other to complete their electronic shell, so because of that, a new molecule is formed. For example, if we take an example, nitrogen, if nitrogen react with nitrogen, it will make N2 nitrogen gas. If oxygen will react with oxygen, then because of that, O2 gas is produced, which is called oxygen. After that, there is another bonding which is called coordinated covalent bonding. Coordinated covalent, when two same atoms and third different atoms react with each other. For example, chemical formula of water is H2O. So when H2 means two atoms of hydrogen, first hydrogen will react with hydrogen, and when and then these two atoms will react with third atom, which is called oxygen. So because of that, hydrogen oxide means H2O, water will be produced. And there is another example which is given here, that is carbon dioxide. It is also an example of coordinated covalent bond. Coordinated covalent bond means when carbon react with when two atoms of carbon, first carbon react with carbon, when two atoms of carbon react with oxygen, so because of that, to complete the electronic shell, so because of that, carbon dioxide is produced. And we all of know carbon and oxygen, carbon is a gas, oxygen is a, so when they both are combined, they produce carbon dioxide. And you also know the characteristic of carbon dioxide, that carbon dioxide is important part of our environment. It is important for plants, because plants make their food with the help of carbon dioxide. The carbon
नीचे
dioxide is
आती हूँ.
not important. Carbon dioxide is much produced inside our body due to cellular respiration. When each and every cell respire, and then it taken out oxygen from, then the oxygen it becomes a by, and it is taken out from our body. So carbon dioxide is much more produced inside our body due to cellular respiration. And the ratio of carbon dioxide in our environment is about 0.04%, but it is produced 4% inside our body. But this is not important for us, but this is not important for us, but it is important part of the plant, because plants make their food with the help of carbon dioxide at night. So they discharge carbon dioxide at night. So that's why we should not sit under the plants, under the trees at night, because they discharge carbon dioxide, and that is not good for our health. I hope you and I have explained you all the summary of the periodic table. I hope you understand it. Now your lecture has been ended. Thank you so much.
I have to ask one question. Excuse me, teacher.